Nigerians, however, question what exactly the change in name and reforms signify. I sit down with Assistant Commissioner of Police in charge of the Public Complaints and Rapid Response Unit of the Nigeria Police Force, Abayomi Shogunle, for answers.
The last time we had this conversation was in June. And then you told me that the police had done its investigations into the allegations against SARS. Despite the numerous videos and pictures on the social media, you said that the police found nothing wrong in the actions of SARS at the time. So now, following the Vice President's directive, what are your thoughts now?
You see, I'll try as much as possible not to I don't want to affect the outcome of the public hearing the National Human Rights Commission is currently doing on issue of alleged human rights abuses against SARS personnel. And I wouldn't want to prejudge the outcome of the presidential directive given to National Human Rights Commission to investigate cases of alleged human rights abuses against SARS personnel. But based on the reports at the PCRRU, which I heard, that's the Police Complaint Unit, which I heard, based on the reports and evidence we have in PCRRU as of today, I can make bold to say that it is not all the videos that we have seen outside that amount to police brutality. There are cases where where it has been established that some SARS officers abused their powers, and appropriate disciplinary action has been taken against them, and they have been dismissed.
Prior to the Vice President's directive on SARS, the current IGP had already started some restructuring, if you'd like to call it that, where you had a commissioner of police in the force headquarters in Abuja handling SARS, and they had SARS heads all over the country reporting to him, and he would report to the DIG, who would report to the IG. Now, what's the difference between that restructuring or reformation and what's happening now? Well, the Vice President's directive.
I think the additions we're having now regarding issue of reformation of SARS, overhauling of SARS, are this. One, SARS operatives will now be given uniform, as in there's going to be a uniform for SARS operatives, and we're not going to be seeing officers just wearing jeans and t-shirts with bulletproof vests as we used to see in the past.
Why do we have SARS in the streets? Is that going to change now following this reformation?
Of course, you know, those are part of the new things coming up now. Now, SARS officers would only concentrate on armed robbery and kidnapping cases. Only armed robbery and kidnapping cases. Any other crime, SARS will not look into it.
That means they'll be taken off the streets now?
Yes, of course. You won't be seeing SARS officers conducting stop and search in any part of the country. You won't be seeing SARS officers roaming about in the name of anti-crime patrol, as we've seen before. It will only be strictly to respond to ongoing robbery case or follow-up operations after robbery case or kidnapping case. So we're not going to be seeing SARS officers conducting stop and search, and their operations will be intelligence-based. So they will respond to specific case or cases. That's part of the new things we're going to see now. And also part of the new things, we're establishing human rights decks at all federal SARS. You know, that's the new name now, federal SARS. We're establishing human rights desks at all federal SARS stations across the country. And my office, that's the PCRRU, will staff the human rights desks at all the SARS facilities across the country. Then there is also going to be continuous psychological and psychiatric evaluation of SARS personnel. This will be done by experts in that field, which the police medical service is going to take a lead on. You know, so those are part of the new things that we're going to be seeing, and we're also going to ensure that cases of allegation of abuse will be treated faster than we've done in the past. Then there's also going to be collaboration with the CSOs, that's civil society organizations and NGOs in Nigeria, regarding facility visitations and capacity building of the officers that will be assigned to SARS.
Well, what level of public engagement are you looking at?
You know, the public engagement the Nigerian Police Force intends to have regarding the issue of the new federal SARS is something that will be determined by stakeholders. Just as I said, it's community policing. It is what the community wants that will come together to implement.
Mr. Speaker, I respect colleagues.
Beyond the overhauling and reformation of the Special Anti-Robbery Squad, there have been calls for the decentralization of the Nigeria Police for effective policing.
The time has come, and I have with me a constitutional amendment for us to amend our constitution to establish the state police.
Mr. Speaker, we should accommodate state police and allow security councils of the states, under leadership of the governors, to give some limited orders to even the armed forces.
Few weeks or months ago, when the matter came up about the killings in Zamfara, the killings in Benue, and of course Nasarawa State, I remember I made a point that it will happen again. And it didn't happen. Let me also say again today that it will also happen again. It will continue to happen until we are prepared to do the correct thing, to do what other civilized countries of the world are doing, which is to take it seriously in providing the necessary security architecture that can be able to provide service, this necessary service to protect the lives and properties of Nigerians. And I want to suggest clearly that this Senate must take it as a responsibility to make provision for state police going forward as quickly as possible. I've undertaken to prepare the bill, and any person who wants to be a co-sponsor is welcome. Between now and next week, that bill must have a first reading in the Senate, and we're going to send it to the House of Representatives so that it moves concurrently. I believe that if we're able to put a good structure of a decentralized police that's well regulated, because some people are fearing about the abuse of this. They are fearing because we have not been able to decide how to make sure that it's not abused. So if we're able to come articulate processes and procedures that will ensure that this is not abused, I think that will go a long way in resolving this problem. So that each state will have the type of police they need, the number of policemen they need, and equip them the way they want, in such a way as to contain the problem they have in their state.
I briefed on behalf of
The National Executive Council eventually decided on the decentralization of the Nigeria Police, which many believe will fill the inadequate gap of the present number of police personnel and the population.
But what we've decided to do is to work on certain methods. For example, the council decided that a committee would be set up with representation from each political zone to be chaired by the Inspector General of Police, so that will find ways of decentralizing police operations so that there will be greater access to information, and handling these situations will become much easier rather than a centralized and cumbersome approach.